I refused to donate blood to my sister, and now she hates me. It was a cold winter night when my phone rang, shattering the silence of my apartment. The clock read 2:13 a.m. as I groggily reached for my phone. Seeing my dad's name on the screen immediately jolted me awake. He rarely called, let alone at this hour. "Ethan," he said, his voice trembling with urgency, "it's Rachel. She's been in a terrible accident. She's in critical condition and needs blood. You're a match. Can you come to the hospital now?" My heart stopped. Rachel, my little sister, had always been a force of nature, fearless, adventurous, and often reckless. The thought of her lying helpless in a hospital bed was unimaginable. But as my dad's words sank in, so did a wave of panic. Just a few months earlier, I had been diagnosed with a rare blood disorder. Though it wasn't life-threatening, it left my immune system fragile. My doctor had advised me against any activities that could put additional strain on my body, including donating blood. I can't, I stammered. "Dad, my condition, remember?" My doctor said. He cut me off, his voice filled with frustration. "This isn't about you, Ethan. This is your sister's life we're talking about. She needs you." I sat there in silence, my mind racing. I wanted to help, but fear paralyzed me. What if donating blood worsened my condition? What if I became so weak that I couldn't recover? The thought of jeopardizing my own health terrified me. "I need to think about it," I finally said, hating myself even as the words left my mouth. By the time I called back to say I couldn't do it, the hospital had found another donor. Rachel survived the night, but just barely. The delay in getting her the blood she needed had worsened her condition, leaving her recovery more complicated than it needed to be. When I visited her in the hospital the next day, she wouldn't even look at me. Her once vibrant, animated face was pale and drawn, her eyes sunken with exhaustion and pain. "You had one chance," she said quietly, her voice hoarse. "One chance to show up for me when it mattered most, and you didn't." "Rachel," I was scared, I tried to explain, my voice shaking. "I have my own health issues. I wasn't trying to hurt you." "I don't care about your excuses," she snapped, her voice rising despite her weakness. "You let me down. I could have died, Ethan. Do you even understand that?" Her words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. I left the hospital feeling like the worst person in the world. Over the next few weeks, Rachel and I drifted further apart. Family gatherings became unbearable. She avoided me, barely acknowledging my presence. When we did speak, her tone was icy and her words curt. My parents, caught in the middle, tried to mediate, but nothing seemed to bridge the growing chasm between us. I threw myself into work, trying to distract myself from the guilt that gnawed at me day and night. But no matter how busy I kept, I couldn't escape the memories of that night, the phone call, the hospital visit, Rachel's angry, tear-filled eyes. Months turned into a year. Rachel moved on with her life, but our relationship remained fractured. When she got married, I was invited to the wedding, but it felt more like an obligation than an olive branch. I sat quietly in the back, watching her exchange vows with her new husband, feeling like an outsider in my own family. I tried to reach out to her several times over the years. I sent texts, left voicemails, even showed up at her apartment unannounced once. Each time, she either ignored me or made it painfully clear that she didn't want to talk. One evening, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I wrote her a long letter, pouring out my heart, apologizing for my hesitation that night, and explaining the fear that had held me back. I begged her to understand that I wasn't trying to be selfish, that I loved her more than anything, and that my decision haunted me every single day. I never got a response. The years have gone by, and while the sharp sting of guilt has dulled, it has never truly disappeared. Every family gathering, every holiday, every milestone in her life that I witness from the sidelines is a reminder of what I lost that night, not just my chance to help her, but our bond as siblings. People often say that time heals all wounds, but I've learned that some wounds never fully heal. They leave scars, faint but permanent, a constant reminder of what was and what could have been. I don't know if Rachel will ever forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve her forgiveness. All I can do is hope that, one day, she'll see that my hesitation came from a place of fear, not malice, and that she'll allow us to rebuild what was broken. Until then, I carry the memory of that night like a weight on my shoulders, a reminder of the cost of hesitation and the fragile, irreplaceable nature of the relationships we hold dear.